sin, all your sadness, all your sorrow, there's a Savior. Bring it all to the Savior. I don't know this guy at all who's singing that song, but I can tell you this. It sounds to me like he's been forgiven a lot. And it's testimony that he feels comfortable sharing. Through the music and the song he's written. And there's some wonderful good news in there. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people over the years in ministry who felt like this thing is too deep. The trouble too difficult. Somehow God wasn't going to be able to love them. As I shared in the first service, and as I've heard Lance mention many times before, that's a lie from the pit of hell itself. Bring it on. Because we can all be forgiven. Let's pray. Lord, these are gracious moments that we're able to spend together today. You brought us from where we've been to where we are right now. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to fellowship together around your word, share in these moments of worship. Be the focus and the longing and the desire of our hearts. And we bring you what you deserve. We pray in the master's name of Christ.
It's the song of you and from the afternoon. It's the song of you down out the rain. The song of age of the believer, filled with God's holy fire. Every tribe, every tongue, every nation, love song for the ritual choir. All that you can sing in glory, glory, hallelujah, we praise. Amen. All that you can sing in glory, glory, hallelujah, we praise. When his life comes forward, all in heaven be down. And preachers echo from the towers of Jesus, it will gather around. Oh, all the songs are from the dawn of creation, someone meant to persist. Of all the bells are from the thousand people, none can do it like this. All that you can sing, glory, glory, hallelujah, we praise. Amen. All that you can sing, glory, glory, hallelujah, we praise. Amen. All that you can sing, glory, glory, hallelujah, we praise. We praise. All that you can sing, glory, glory, hallelujah, we praise. And all the powers of darkness, never and what they deserve. With all the powers of darkness, can't drown out a single word. All that you can sing on glory, glory, hallelujah, we praise. We praise. All that you can sing on glory, glory, hallelujah, we praise. We praise. All that you can sing on glory, glory, hallelujah.
Fine.
just 10:45 and the picnics after that. The sign-up sheets to bring items is now at the back of the worship center on the windows in the back. The second thing I want to mention is something new that's up on announcement is the Jay Invitational Ball. It's open to everybody. We call it the Jay's for short. If you want any information about it, come see me. I'll be downstairs after the service. And if you have any questions, I'll be there to answer. All right, thank you. Now please stand as we continue with worship.
It reminds me of the day my life was changed. Now it is not I, but it is right. Living in me, oh. I was lost, but now I'm found where I belong. I will never be the way I was before. Now it is not I, but it is right. Living in me, oh. Living in me, oh. I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you, oh Lord. I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you, oh Lord. Again, that is the praise I made. It reminds me of the day my life was changed. Now it is not I, but it is right. Living in me, oh. I was lost, and now I'm found where I belong. I can never be the way I was before. Now it is not I, but it is right. Living in me, oh. Living in me, oh. I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you, oh Lord. I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you, oh Lord. This is the life that I'm now living. This is the life that I'm now living. This is the life that I'm
This is the life that I now live. I live by faith, This is the life that I now live. This is the life that I now live. This is the life that I now live. Hey. I live by faith, I live by faith, I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you, I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you. I'm changed because of you, Pray for you, my name. You remind me of the day my life was changed. Now it is not I, but it is Christ. Living in me. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, your perfect love is casting out fear. Even when I'm caught in the middle of the storms of this life, I won't turn back, I know you are here, and I will feel no peace. For my God is with me, and if my God is with me, whom then shall I fear? Whom then shall I fear? Oh no, you never let go through the calm and through the storm. Oh no, you never let go. Every high, every low. Oh no, you never let go. Lord, you never let go of me. I can see the light that is coming for the heart that holds on. The glorious light beyond all compare. There will be an end to these troubles, but until that day comes, and if you know you be on the earth, and I will feel no evil. For my God is with me, and if my God is with me, whom then shall I fear? Whom then shall I fear? Oh no, never let go through the calm and through the storm. Oh no, you never let go. Every high, every low. Oh no, you never let go, Lord. trouble, but until that day comes, still I will praise you, still I will praise you. I can see a light that is coming for the heart that holds on. There will be an end to the trouble, but until that day comes, still I will praise you, still I will praise you. Oh no, you never let go. Through the dawn, through the storm. Oh no, you never let go. Every high, every low. Oh no, you never let go. No, you never let go of me. Oh no, you never let go. Through the calm, through the storm. Oh no, you never let go. Every high, every low. Oh no, you never let go. Lord, you never let go of me. Lord, you never let go of me.
Okay, please be seated. And join me in prayer. Certainly a confidence and a hope that we can have, Father, with the song that we just shared and the sentiment that's there. A sense that you are always present, you're imminent. We can't escape you. And that you never let us wander out from your watchful care. That doesn't guarantee us. We've come to experience and to learn that we're not going to be without troubles and difficulties, hardships, trials, inevitable parts of living on this earth and the result of sin in our world. But the good news is, in spite of all of that, we can know that we're greatly loved, that we continue to be greatly cared for, and that you have wondrous, amazing things in store for us. We may be privileged at times to understand what it is that we've gone through, but your desires for us is to trust you. And we are learning lessons of trust. A lot of work to be done. So, Father, continue to call us and summon us and increase our faith to step out and to be the people that you long for us to be, and to invest ourselves in the work that you set apart for us to do. Knowing that it will cost us our time, it will cost us resource. Some instances it may cost us great harm. Why should we be afraid? You never let go. So, Father, we cling tenaciously to the promises that you've made, that he who watches over Israel never slumbers and never sleeps. You'll never leave us nor forsake us. And an amazing truth of the scriptures that continues to baffle my mind, though I've walked with you 40 years. In this, you commend your love to us, and while we were yet sinners, you sent Jesus to die for each and every one of us. Hard to get our minds around that when we won't go across the street for a neighbor in need because of something that happened 20 years ago. We can't let go. So continue to work in us, Lord, the work that you long and desire to do, making us into your children, enabling us to call out to you and receive what we need moment by moment, event by event. The anointing of your Spirit, encouragement and blessing of your presence and power. I pray that for Nikki today as she gets ready to stand and declare the truth that you've laid upon her heart. I'm glad she's here and able to step up for John while you have your way. Keep them in your care. Grant them a safe passage home. And Lord, in all this, we're grateful. Grateful for the body of Christ. Grateful for the ever-present ministry of the Holy Spirit. We give you glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I was lost, I was in chains, the world had a hold of me. My heart was a stone, I was covered in shame, but He came for me. I couldn't run from His presence. I couldn't run from His Son. Jesus, He loved me, He loved me, He exalted me. Jesus, how can it be? He loves me, He exalted me. My soul, I'll never be the same. I step out of the dark into the light when He called my name. I couldn't run from His presence. I couldn't run from His love. Jesus, He loves me, He loves me, He exalts me. Jesus, how can it be? He loves me, He exalts me. He holds the stars and He holds my heart in healing hands that never stop. The rugged cross He died for me, my only hope, my everything. Jesus, He loves me, He loves me. Jesus, how can it be? He loves me, He exalts me. He loves me, He loves me, He loves me, He exalts me. My God, today is Lord. Jesus loves me.
When I introduced Nikki in the first service, I started with something that I am proud of. I can't say that I'm proud of everything I've done in life, but I made the decision back in 1975 to join the Free Methodist Church. As a Providence president, I liked what I saw. It challenged me, it confronted me. And from the very beginning, in the formation of the Free Methodist Church, back in the 1860s, our founders, as they searched the scriptures and as they sought out God, they saw that God poured out His Spirit upon His servants, both male and female. That He didn't discriminate. It wasn't just a man's ministry. like it had been up until that point. And then it continues to be in large function today, except in our church and some like us. We currently have a woman superintendent in our conference. She's doing a wonderful job. There's a number of female pastors. I have the privilege to hear their messages and sit in them in gatherings and pray with them, and I'm blessed. We serve a great God, and He does wondrous things. He's done a wondrous thing in our midst. When we began Open Arms, after we retooled a little bit from who we were. The first year, we were privileged to have Nikki and Steve and their fledgling little family. As they were in foster care, and God has done wondrous things in their lives in that time. And today, Nikki's going to share a bit of her journey. And I am thrilled. I've already heard it once, and looking forward to it again. Pay attention.
Good morning. I am not John Hunt. And if you want to know how to know, there's no answer. As Pastor Herb said, what I would like to do this morning is to share with you part of my story. And how God used as part of my story to speak into my heart and my life. I hope that somehow He will use it to speak into yours as well. In January 2012, Steve and I found out I was pregnant. For those of you doing the math, Zach was born in 2010. 3 months later, Steve drove me to a women's and children's hospital where they could do nothing. And I lost the baby. We reacted, I guess, that you would expect us to. I cried a lot. We mourned, we grieved. In the process of my grief, I became very, very angry at God. God, how could you let this happen? It's not fair. I even began to recount to God the things that I had done for Him. God, I go to church. God, I read my Bible. God, I try to serve you. God, I pray. This is what I've done for you, and this is what I get. There were several months there where it is the only time in my life that I can say I have experienced depression. Because it got to a point where I was asking God, God, if this is how you show me your love, do I want it? And God, in His graciousness, answered me. But as usual, God doesn't answer how we want Him to. He answers how we need Him to. And in the process, God revealed to me 3 errors. 3 errors in my thinking and in myself that I needed to get right with Him. So today, with your permission, I would like to share with you what those errors were and the truth that God has revealed to me. So the first error was that I deserve good things from God. I'm crying out to God, saying, God, it's not fair. You know, like my 8-year-old children do. It's not fair. What I'm really doing is looking at God and saying, God, I deserve better from you. I deserve good things. But that's not true. To help illustrate, I made cookies. I made these yesterday. A cookie? Anybody? Yeah. I made them. I used really good ingredients. I used good sugar, and good eggs, and I used good chocolate. Anybody else good? All right. But as I was using my ingredients, I was a little short on chocolate. So instead, I used a little bit of poop. What? It's just a little bit, so it's okay, right? Alright. It's like that with us. It doesn't matter how much poop there is in the cookie. It's bad cookie. Nobody wants to eat it. It's not good anymore. It's the way in my heart. It doesn't matter how much sin there is in my heart. No good. And when there's sin, what I really deserve is not good things from God. I deserve His wrath. We like to, I should say this is about me. I like to compare. God, I'm not as bad as. I'm doing much better than. Look at that person over there. They're a mess. My sin isn't as big as their sin. Doesn't matter. I still got poop in my cookie. In your programs, there's a passage from Isaiah. It's Isaiah chapter 64, and if you want, there's page numbers listed that correspond with the pages in the Bibles that are in the chairs in front of you. And if you don't have a Bible, feel free to take the one that's in front of you and take it home and start reading it. And it will be replaced next week. Somebody will put one back so that there's Bibles there for other people to take. But in Isaiah chapter 64, it says, how then can we be saved? Prophet Isaiah is talking about the nation of Israel that had turned away from God. They had done some bad things. How then can we be saved? All of us. Realize there's nobody left out in that statement. All of us have become like one who is unclean. Not sure. All of our righteous acts, all the ways I think I'm good, I got it together, all of my righteous acts are like filthy rags. Now, just to give you a little more description of that filthy rags, the term there is used of the rags that were used by women during their cycle. We're talking that kind of disgusting, filthy. So all of my righteous acts are like filthy rags. We all shrivel up like a leaf. Like the wind, our sins, we do this to ourselves, sweep us away. No one calls on your name or strives to lay hold of you. For you have hidden your face from us and given us over to our sins. God won't make us love him. He gives us over to our choices. Yet you, Lord, are our Father. We are the clay. You are the potter. We are all the work of your hand. When I come to God and I say to him, God, it's not fair. God, I deserve better from you. Because I'm good. I'm a good person. When I come before God holding on to that, what I'm really doing is I'm clinging to those filthy rags. I'm holding on to that disgusting. Instead, I should be holding on to Jesus. It is only through what Jesus has done for me that I do not get what I deserve. In Romans 5 it says, but God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Since we have now been justified by his blood, in other words, we've been made right with God, how much more shall we be saved from God's wrath through him? Jesus took God's wrath. He took what I deserve.
Yeah.
I don't have to experience God's wrath, not because of my goodness, not because of what I've done, because of what Jesus has done for me. I can let go. I can let go of the disgusting rags. I can let go of my goodness because it really isn't there anyway. I can let go of that. And I can cling on to Jesus. And what this produces, the response in my heart becomes one of confession. God, I confess that I've been clinging to rags. God, I confess open my heart. And a humility that comes from knowing my place, not a people can walk alone for me humility, but a humility that comes from knowing who I am. The verse we read in Isaiah talked about God being the potter, we're the clay. God's the one who decides what to do with us. God's the one who's in charge, and we're just the lump of clay. And in that humility, I can say, God, I'm sorry, I'm just the clay. The second error that God brought me to is fairly similar to the first error. And it's that if I do enough good things, God owes me. Listing off the things that I had done to God. God, I've gone to church. God, I have helped serve other people. God, I have prayed to you. God, I have read your Bible. God, listing off those things. The good things I've done, God, I've banked up this much. Therefore, I'm cashing it in. You need to take care of this. But that's not how God works. God's love cannot be earned. We can't do anything to make God love us. We can't do anything to make him love us more. It's not some kind of point system where I earn enough points and then I can make God do something. God's not a cosmic vending machine. You can't just put the right things in and push the right buttons and you get out what you want. And if I can step away from my grief enough. I realized I don't really want it that way anyway. There's a verse in Romans, chapter 8, that says, "For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Christ Jesus our Lord." And what I would like to do is I would like to talk about the difference between wage and a gift. So here we go. With Jay's help. Somebody tell me, what's a wage? Something earned. What's a wage?
Something we work for.
You work for it.
Owed to us.
It is owed. It's compulsory. If I work, you owe me money. As a matter of fact, you don't pay me, I can hire a lawyer and I can sue you because it's mine. So, go back to the verse that's in your program. For the wages of sin is death. If I want what is owed to me, it's death. I'm not sure I want my paycheck. But we can compare that then to what a gift is. What's a gift? It's free. What else is a gift?
Because someone likes you.
Because someone likes you. Anything else? What's a gift? What was that? You don't have to work for it. Yes. It is bought for by someone else. It's been paid for. What do you have to do to get a gift? You just receive it. If I said to you, oh, here's a present, all you have to do is open your hands and say thank you. I like getting presents. But that's all you do. You don't have to go listing off to somebody, well, wait, before you give me that present, let me tell you what I've done to earn it. Just get it. And what God has done, what is our gift? Our gift is eternal life through Jesus Christ. There is nothing I can do to earn eternal life. I don't have to check and make sure that my good things that I have done are more than the bad things I have done. I don't have to make sure that I'm doing better than this person over here. It's a gift. All I have to do is open my hands and say thank you. So why am I listing my works off to God? Why am I still trying to earn it? There is nothing, absolutely nothing that I can do that will take God off my life. Nothing. So I can stop. I can stop trying to make the good in my life outweigh the bad. I can stop comparing myself to others and making sure I'm better than somebody else. I can stop acting like God owes me something. And I can accept His gift. I can simply accept Jesus. And what's my response to that? What does it produce in me? It produces rest. because I'm not striving at it. I can have peace just knowing that God has given me a gift. Third error that God revealed to me in my thinking is the harvest. My error in my thinking was that my current pain, whatever I'm going through, is not worth it. It's not worth the eternal benefits. It's not worth whatever God is doing. God, it's my baby. Why would you let this happen? It's not worth it. And it took me a long time to allow God to show me that my perspective is not His perspective. And I'm a parent, so sometimes we do this to our children. Don't eat that cookie, it is bedtime. But I want the cookies, Mama. You're so mean. Or I take my children to the doctor and they get their shots. I have one that screams horribly when he gets shots. I'm not telling you which one. But why do we do that? Because we know eating chocolate cookies 2 minutes before supposed to go to bed is not good for them. Because we have a perspective that getting a shot now is going to keep you from getting a horrible disease later in your life. There's a payoff. There's a perspective that my 5-year-old can't have when he's getting a shot. So I would propose to you that God knew I was going to have a miscarriage. That God allowed it to happen. Maybe He even wanted it to happen. You say, that's not right. God, that's not right. I don't have His perspective. I can't say to you what His reasoning is. I can't say to you what effect 5-10 years in the future that event is going to have on me or someone around me. First Peter chapter 1. It's in your programs. It says, in all this you greatly rejoice. So he's talking about this hope that we have in Jesus. So in this we greatly rejoice. Though now for a little while you may have had to suffer grief in all kinds of trials. Yep. These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed. My faith is worth more than my pain. Jesus getting the glory is worth more than my pain. bad thing, the thing that I see as horrible, it's for my good. Miscarriage. Yeah. I was reading the story in John, chapter 9. Don't tell Pastor John we're skipping ahead. But this is talking about Jesus. And it says, as he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? In that culture, they thought if there was something wrong with you, it was because of sin. Neither this man nor his parents sinned, said Jesus. But this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. When I first read it, as I was struggling through my grief, I was incensed. I was upset. God, really? You would allow this poor man to be blind so that at one point in time you can come along and go, you can see again. Yeah. It was worth it? What was produced in that man? He could see. What was produced in him? What was produced in his parents? What was produced in the people around him? Because Jesus had touched him. He got to be part of Jesus' ministry. The man's in the Bible. You don't get any more famous than that. It was worth it. So that he could be touched by Jesus and show God's glory. If I can get a hold of this, because sometimes I do better than others. If I can get a hold of my perspective, it's not God's perspective. If I can get a hold of this bad thing that I'm sunk in the middle of right now, it's for good. What's my response to that? It becomes one of thankfulness and one of trust. It brings me to a point where I can say, God, thank you. My baby is with you. God, thank you for answering my painful questions and not leaving me. God, thank you for forgiving me again and again. God, thank you for rest. Thank you for filling me with your peace. And I trust you. In your program, there are some next steps. And Pastor John asked me to make next steps so that you could have something to take from this. So, in your journey with Jesus, if there's anything today that has spoken to you, maybe your next step today is to accept God's gift of love for the first time. To just open your hands and say thank you. Because that's all you need to do. Maybe you can begin following Jesus. Or maybe today your next step is to confess a wrong. God, I'm not good. And you can humbly Seek God's forgiveness. You're the potter, God. I'm going to do what you want. Maybe today your next step is to stop striving to earn God's favor. To rest. Knowing that you can't do anything to make God love you more than he already does. Maybe today your next step is to thank God for the hard thing that you're going through. That's all. It's difficult to look to God and say, God, thank you. But maybe your thing today is to trust that he is good. Maybe your next step today is to return next week. Pastor John will be back, and he'll be talking about worshiping in spirit and in truth. You can mark your connection cards, and somebody will be coming around with offering baskets, and you can put them in there. We have prayer team that prays on Wednesday nights. And they'll pray for you confidentially for whatever you mark on your card.
So as Nikki mentioned, we're going to play this final song, and Jim and Jerry are coming around to collect those connection cards. And any financial donations that you want to add to help support open arms. But most importantly, just put that connection cards.
So what would my life look like if I chose confession and humility? If I stopped striving and allowed there to be rest and peace in my heart? If I saw things from God's perspective and chose to be thankful and trusting? Would you remember this week? Would you remember that God loves you? Do you remember that there's nothing you can do to make him love you any more than he does? Would you remember that you can trust him? Be thankful. Thank you for coming today and for listening to my story.
You're taking credit for mine.
Oh, you
Taking credit for my macaroni and cheese.
Heck yeah. Wait a minute. You don't even know how to make that. It was so great. I read. Oh, there you are here. I thought maybe you were here earlier and left. Oh, I'm sure. Hi. Oh, my family. Oh, nice. I got glad I made it to the class. I signed at 10:30.